Backers, welcome back to another episode of Pete Plays Pokemon Blue. Sorry for that 2-week delay. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying my series on Pokemon Uranium with my buddy Thompson here on the channel in this series stead. But I do want you guys to know that, God willing, we're back on a normal schedule and you guys won't have to endure any more 2-week breaks like that. But I've said that before, and here we are. So, hopefully you guys are still sticking with me. You'll forgive me for my absence this last 2 weeks, but I'm going to be straight with you guys. You know, trying to do a daily series on top of our 4 other videos a week it's tough order. So, you know, if there was one show that was going to take a backseat, I've said this before, it's easiest for it to be this one, since this one's kind of all on me. So, hopefully that won't happen again, and I appreciate your patience as always. So, in the 2 weeks since I've been gone, there's a ton to catch up on. In Slack and Slash News, we'll start there. We are coming up on our 1-year anniversary, which is really exciting. So, we've got a couple little celebratory things in the works there, and, you know, so we're kind of ramping up to that. We've been doing the daily uranium, mostly daily uranium series for the last 2 weeks, and we've got a couple other things, you know, in the works that I won't spoil for you. I like to keep the surprise for the most part, but we've got some new shows in the works, and a lot of stuff that we're looking forward to kind of debuting for you guys in 2017. So, you know, you'll see some more about that stuff in the weeks to come. But let me be the first to say thank you here. If you're one of our regular viewers, if you're one of our subscribers, we really appreciate all the support, and we wouldn't be here without you guys. So again, thank you so much for joining us here every week, and a big thank you for joining me here on this show every week. I'm still, you know, however many episodes in we are now, really just astounded that you guys come back to spend time with me every week and miss the show when it's gone and reach out to me. So again, I just, you know, always want to make sure that we're, you know, giving you guys credit where credit's due. So in non-Slack and Slash news, we'll keep it to Pokemon stuff. If you're interested in hearing about video game news, you can go check out our podcast every Monday, where I talk about stuff I'm not going to repeat here for repeat viewers. But in Pokemon news, there's a couple big things in the last couple weeks. We have a ton of brand new Pokemon, Mega Beasts, which we're not even entirely sure if these are Pokemon. I would venture to guess that they are some kind of legendary Pokemon, but they're apparently, like, you know, different in some way. It's not totally apparent if they're like a new type, or if they're just, like, you know, for whatever reason, like extra legendary. But they're different, you know. So they look like these. The one we saw anyway was like the strange jellyfish monster. Some people are showing that there's a player character that seems to have a very similar look to this Pokemon. So some people are speculating that this might be some kind of like a Pokemon or human transforming into a Pokemon or something like that. We don't know. We have no idea. We saw a ton of new NPCs. Ton of new environments and everything. So there's a bunch of trailers. If you want to get caught up on the news, like I said, you can go check out our weekly podcast where any Pokemon news is talked about kind of like in serious depth there. If there's anything specific that you want to reach out and ask me questions about, or you know, don't really feel like doing the extra digging yourself, you can hit me up on Twitter at @loud_Pete, or let me know in the comments below, and I'll do my best to connect you guys with that information. So, to bring it back to kind of our regular... Oh, shit. Sorry. I need to mute my phone, which I'm increasingly frequently forgetting to do before we record. You probably heard that, since my microphone's pretty excellent, and are wondering why there's just the sound of, like, water being poured, or, like, someone peeing or something. Well, at Ozzy's suggestion, I downloaded an app that will tell me, like, about once every hour that it's time for me to drink some water, because I've been finding increasingly that I get a lot of headaches, primarily because I work with computers all the time. So, I work at a desk 8 hours a day in front of a computer, and then all my free time is spent playing video games or reading on the computer or making music on the computer or editing videos for you guys on the computer or whatever. So obviously, that constant light exposure is not great for headaches when I already have a sensitivity to light. But I found through my own experience and just through talking with like my doctor and stuff a little bit that I'm primarily probably having these issues because I'm regularly very dehydrated. I don't drink enough water during the day just because I don't really think about it, and I don't, when I drink a lot of like soda and stuff like that, which just helps to dehydrate you. So I've been trying to get to, sorry, fly in my face. Been trying to stick to that, whole like, I think it's like 8 liters or whatever. It's like half a gallon a day that you're supposed to get, and so I downloaded an app because that's what we do in 2016 to solve our problems. And like, I'm not gonna sit here and talk shit because they work, and I am now like 4 days in drinking the appropriate amount of water for a human being to survive, and I feel great. So PSA, you heard it here first, drink more water. If you have trouble drinking water, go download an app, and yeah, get yourself a nice little reminder there. Try and take it back to kind of like our normal flow of things here. I'm going to ask our weekly question. So, this is what made me think of it, right? The infamous Lavender Town music that spawned a million creepypastas and a million fan theories about Lavender Town and all that kind of stuff. If you're not familiar with those creepypastas, go look them up. Super interesting. If you'd like me to tell you about them, comments below or hit me up on Twitter and I will try to fill you in. So assuming you do know those, I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite piece of music from the original Pokemon games? I know for some of you who aren't musicians, you might not have like a go-to answer like I do, which is I'm a really big fan of the early Route music. So like Route 1, the route between Cerulean, or between Peter and Cerulean and Vermilion. Those are some of my favorite pieces of music in the series, specifically in this game. But I'm actually of the opinion that this game has the best music out of any of them. If you guys are familiar with my electronic music persona, the Jetpack Advantage, shout out to soundcloud.com/thejetpackadvantage, you'll know that I'm a big fan of chiptune music, so it's not exactly surprising that this would be my pick. But alright, we're gonna double back here. Lavender Town's awesome, but we gotta get to Celadon first. So yeah, I found that as the series has progressed and they've had more advanced chipsets and the ability to replicate more advanced like MIDI instruments and stuff like that, that there's just a certain quality that's lost to the music by not having it. I've talked about this a lot. It's something I love about old school games in just like pixels and chip tune and stuff in general, is that I think art from limitations is often it creates challenges that are really interesting, right? Like, there's so many things that we take for granted that wouldn't be as they are if it weren't for limitations of the creator at the time, right? Like, keep it specific to video games for my examples. But the example I always kind of go to is like Mario. Like, Mario wouldn't have his overalls and mustache whole look if there wasn't a pixel limitation on the NES that required them to give him a mustache so that you could see his face. So, things like that, right? Something that's so iconic, so immediately recognizable to Mario, his nose and mustache, only exists because of a technical limitation of the hardware that the game was designed for. And I think that's very true of chiptune music. I think the reason that old school music in video games, NES, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Color, even the Game Boy Advance, have such distinctive music is because there was limitations there. You had to really focus on melody and things that were very catchy and things that sounded good with a simple palette. And I think it led to a much larger focus on quality of the music and of gameplay mechanics and using the most of what you have as opposed to just kind of like shooting for the stars. And obviously, some of the OG Pokemon sprites don't look quite as good as they, as you like, as they would later come to look. Some of the original Pokemon designs are kind of wonky. Like I always kind of lean towards the like super fat Blastoise as being the one where I'm very glad his design got modernized a bit. But specifically in regards to the music, I think that's something that it's just there's a certain charm to it that for me is not replicable with more advanced MIDI music or what have you. So there's my way too long spiel about chip music. Can you tell that I'm a musician? If you guys have a favorite Pokemon song, let me know in the comments below. If you're someone who like never really paid attention to the music of Pokemon or something like that, let me know why. I'd love to have a little dialogue there, because for me, music and video games are always intrinsically tied. You can't have one without the other. So I would love to hear from someone with a dissenting opinion. Okay, so we kind of goofed here by leaving Paris behind, or Toad behind. I don't have, let me use an antidote, if I have one. So I don't have Cut right now, so we're gonna have to wait until the next episode. We'll double back and go through some of this grass. Maybe catch a Meowth. I've been thinking about using a Persian. And we're gonna need Cut anyway to get into Erica's gym, so we'll have to go grab that before we head along. So, I think we might have seen a Coffin before already, so forgive me if I've shared this tidbit, but I always thought that this sprite was particularly interesting, how, specifically just for the US version, when they did the sprite redesigns, whoever worked on this one made the error of putting Coffin's eyes on the bottom and the logo up on the top. And I always just thought that was super funny and weird, that more people my age, like when it was new, didn't seem to like notice or comment on it, and it was just one of those inaccuracies that always kind of fascinated me. I guess like it makes sense when you think about it. At the time when they were localizing Pokemon for the first time, it wasn't quite the worldwide sensation that it is now, obviously. And I guess like there wasn't like maybe there wasn't reference art like there is now. Like there wasn't like obviously an anime depiction or anything like that to work off of. But it's weird. You'd think that they would have the sprites from Pokemon Red and Green handy while they were making the new ones, or something along those lines. It's weird to me that it got into the game, right? Like I can see that mistake being made, but it's like, was that just something that they didn't notice, or like was it it was figured out, but there was kind of like, it wasn't financially worth it to go back and fix it or whatever, It's like, I don't know, I always just thought that was so strange that you would just allow a totally fucked up sprite to make it into the final version of this game. But I don't know, right? I guess like Pokemon was such a... That's what I find so interesting about going back to these games, just, you can see how different it is when they made the first game without any expectation of what Pokemon would be, or what it could become. At a time where Shigeru Miyamoto was like really the only person that believed in Pokemon at Nintendo. That's another fun story. If I'm repeating myself, let me know in the comments below, and I'll start trying to make a list of all the stories I tell so I don't do this again. So forgive me, but if you don't know, the origin story of how Pokemon came to Nintendo is actually pretty interesting. Satoshi Tajiri, who is like the original creator of Pokemon, came up with the idea for Pokemon because as a child he was like really into collecting bugs, and like kind of categorizing them, like placing them on glass, that whole kind of thing, like OG nerd stuff. And it was a hobby that he was really into as a kid in Japan, and when he was developing the idea for Pokemon, he kind of wanted to combine the fun of capturing monsters instead of bugs with capsules, which are, if you've ever, if you're in the States, we have them, you go to like Target or whatever, and you put in those 50 cents and you get like a little toy or whatever. Those are hugely popular in Japan. So his idea was, I'm going to combine, my childhood love of bug catching with these capsules. And the original name for Pokemon before it was Pokemon, which is a combination of the words pocket and monsters, which if you were a kid and never had Japanese Pokemon cards, they actually say pocket monsters on the back. They were called capsule monsters, right? And when he was kind of going around trying to find a home for Pokemon, I won't bore you with the specifics. If you're really interested in the history of it, you can go look it up yourself. Fascinating story. or again, reach out to me and I'd be happy to discuss it with you further. But the long and short of it is he eventually found his way to Nintendo and met with Shigeru Miyamoto, who saw Pokemon and immediately saw its potential and believed in the project, and he was instrumental in getting the higher-ups at Nintendo to give it the time of day. Which makes sense. You know, you're Shigeru Miyamoto, you're the creator of, you know, all of your company's most successful franchises and the head of game development. When you say pay attention to a game, people pay attention. But for a long time, he was kind of the driving force behind Pokemon. He was kind of the guy who was like, this is the next big thing for Game Boy, you know, this is going to be a big deal. And I think he was instrumental in getting, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if you know, I believe he was fairly instrumental in getting the link cable connectivity and trading and all that stuff to kind of instrumentally be part of the game. So, yeah, I don't know. Fun fact about Pokemon. The more you know. But yeah, I always think that that's just kind of, it's interesting, right? It's so interesting to think that there was a time where Nintendo like almost passed on Pokemon. You know, they weren't like immediately sold on it. You know, and you look at it today, and it's, you know, arguably probably their second most successful franchise. Granted, they only own it at a second party capacity, but you know, I would say next. I keep forgetting I'm out of Fury Attacks. Next to you know, Mario, Pokemon's their biggest franchise by a lot. I mean, like, obviously Legend of Zelda has pretty serious cultural cachet, but you know, it doesn't do numbers like Mario or Pokemon, or even close, and no other Nintendo game does. You know, like you know, even stuff that like you think of as being very successful or being major franchises, right? Like stuff like Star Fox and Metroid and stuff like that doesn't, you know, it doesn't do bad, but it doesn't do like gangbusters Mario Pokemon numbers. So it's just funny to think that, you know, got in another world, right? That's the thing though, like, you know, if Nintendo had passed, like, Pokemon, it probably wouldn't even be a thing. Because I'm pretty sure that they had a pretty, like, labored, you know, they were, like, really working to try and get this idea off the ground, and Game Freak was independent at the time and everything, and, you know, it's not like that game, like, you know, the original Pokemon games really would have made sense on consoles. So, I mean, they probably still would have been trying to go for the Game Boy market just without Nintendo's backing, which, you know, Lord knows if they ever would have gotten it done. Oh, you know what? I do have one more little fun fact about Miyamoto and Tajiri's relationship, which is that if you're familiar, like they became very close friends. Miyamoto became something of a mentor to him, and they've maintained a very close friendship since then, from my understanding anyway. And he pretty famously in the Japanese version, you know, Red and Blue, the characters in the localized versions of it, have names that are representative of Tajiri and Miyamoto, where Tajiri is red and Miyamoto is blue. So it's just kind of, you know, cute little fun fact that, you know, their friendship was represented in the game. Interesting that they chose to show Miyamoto, who is the man who kind of like saved Pokemon and brought it into the Nintendo fold as his rival, you know, as opposed to like a mentor or something. Like I would have probably named the professor after him or something like that, but I don't know, I guess maybe he treated him more like a peer than a pupil or something along those lines. But hey, there's your Pokemon fun fact of the day. No, Brittany Spiro! Alright, we got a couple more battles here. And then we'll make our way to Celadon City. Alright, we're on our way here. We don't have, we gotta get that fresh water and give it to the, I forget what I guess they're like security guards or whatever, so we can get through the gates without having to use this little tunnel. Oh yeah, okay, I guess talking about Snorlax. Okay! We're here, kind of. Alright guys, so we got our Pokemon healed up. We're here in Celadon City. There's a ton I want to do in this city. I'm really trying to go to the game corner and maybe like buy a Dratini. We gotta get Eevee, so there's lots to do here. I'm gonna go straight for Erica. so we can make this like a somewhat eventful episode and secure ourselves the rainbow badge. So let's have at it. This one shouldn't be too bad, because Brittany Firo is pretty fierce. I always thought this was so funny. I did not get this as a kid. And this guy is just like this creepy-ass peeping Tom. This gym is great. It's full of women. And he's just like peeking in through the window. It's like, what a creep. What an absolute creep. I always thought this gym was funny because it's like the easiest one to skip all of the, you can battle Erica, I think, with only fighting one other trainer. Because she's got like 2 people on one side and 1 person on the other side. And I don't think you can't avoid one of them. But we're not about to walk away from a fight. Like, we talked about it earlier. We want to beef up our minds. Ever since I did that little bit of power leveling, we've been kind of like raffle stomping everybody. So I'd like to keep that up. And we're getting crits for days in this episode. I swear to God. Like between Brittany Firo now and our Weaving Bell, like, damn, taking out chumps left and right. But yeah, I don't know, this shouldn't be too long, honestly. Like, Brittany Firo is probably gonna like one-shot everything that's not Erica, and we'll be able to kind of move right along here. But I definitely want to take on everybody, get that money. We're gonna need it, for the game corner. Like I said, I really want to try and get a Dratini, so unless I want to spend a lot of time gambling, which I don't, I would love to be able to just go buy one. Like, exchange money for coins. I think we might be able to pull that off. Because I know that the prices for Pokemon are different between Red and Blue, so I can't exactly remember how much Dratini is, but I'm fairly certain that it's less expensive in Blue version than it is in Red version, because Porygon is in this one, I think, and is super expensive. So, we'll see, right? We'll figure it out in the next episode after we take on the Rainbow, or not the Rainbow Gym, the Celadon City Gym. Excuse me. Alright, nice. Level 31. Oh yeah, 1 shot, 1 kill. 1 shot, 1 opportunity to be the best, the greatest Firo in the fucking game. Brittany, bitch. Excuse me, it's Brittany, bitch. Oh god. My makeup! Sure, because that's all that women care about, right? Why would your makeup even get fucked up in a Pokemon battle? Like, did Brittany Spiro peck you in the eyes? The beauties have such weird faces. Like, they don't have any noses, and they just, like, look kind of like dicks. Like, they're like, it's like, whoa. You look like any beauty I ever saw. Beauty's only skin deep, baby, and you look scary. Alright. Yeah, it's everybody on this side. Go fight this chumpette. No, I am not the Peeping Tom! That guy is a wrinkly old weirdo! And he's still out there! Bulbasaur? Pretty jelly. Come from Palatown? Boom! Oh my god. Jesus, Brittany, you're fucking killing it. Your fucking new album just dropped. Like, you're on top of your game right now. Alright. Fucking Ivysaur, standing up straight. What are you doing? That's not what you look like. Boom. Alright, another one down. Don't bring any bugs or fire Pokemon in here. Why? Do you want me to win? Like, you forgot flying types, which is what's currently shredding your goddamn life. So funny though, man. Like, bug in this game is such a, it's like such a why is this even a type? Like, there's only like 4 bug types in the whole game, and I'm pretty sure the only like bug stab move that actually exists is like Pin Missile. Oh, or maybe like I think Pinsir might have like Vice Grip and stuff. But I don't even know if that's bug. She withdrew her Gloom. I've like never seen that happen yet this playthrough. That's so weird. Like why? Like you really think he's oh cool? Send out oh yeah, that's good. Is that just like a cool trainer thing? Are they like jugglers? Where they is that just like a thing that they do maybe for their AI? They're like, you didn't accomplish anything. You just keep sending your Pokemon out to take hits. Like you haven't dealt one attack. Bop. Bye, Ivysaur. Alright, last one before Erica. Alright, here we go. Time to take on Erica. This is also one of my favorite songs in the game, not gonna lie. Like, just the gym music in general is pretty awesome. You were sleeping? I was busy just bodying your whole gym and you're just sleeping? I teach the art of flower arranging. I had no idea that you wished to challenge me. She's just so incredibly polite. Like, I really appreciate that about you, Erica. It's like, oh my, did you want to have a Pokemon battle? Well, I'm no slouch. I'll tell you, I'm quite a rough customer. Oh, I'm so excited. We're gonna get a Grass Stone in here and we can get ourselves a Victory Bell. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Victory Bell is so terrifying. Look at that face. Hell yeah, that crit though. That's what I like to see. Ooh, excuse me. That's what I like to see. This is gonna be over before it begins. At least she got the poison off. Like, you might see Brittany Spear like actually go down to half health. This was a cool one. I love that, like, in this game, like, it feels like each gym leader kind of has, like, their signature Pokemon. It's like, oh, like, Tangela is, like, she's, like, one of the only trainers that uses a Tangela. You really only see a Tangela in 2 spots in the whole game, which is, I think, in the Safari Zone, and then in that patch of grass that's directly south of Pallet Town. So it's, like, it's pretty cool. Brock has Onix, Misty has Starmie, Lieutenant Surge has Raichu, which is like not a like it's signature because it's him, but like it's pretty easy to get, you know. But I don't know. It's a neat little thing. Youch. That probably won't do too much though, right? Yeah, exactly. Boom. There we go. Oh shit! Whoa, dude. Holding out with that 1 health there. That's crazy. Ah, Super Potion, that sucks. Might be able to one-shot it now, though. Nope. What do you think? She spams Super Potions and... No, okay. Petal Dance is in this game? I super don't remember that. Like, wow. That's awesome. That's funny. I really thought that was, like, a newer move. Huh. It's part of the fun of this series, for sure. Alright, we're back. Another level. Really, like 3 levels this fucking gym battle? That's awesome. Yeah, I'll learn Drill Peck for funsies. Totally. My favorite thing is, like, I love how, like, learning new moves in these games, just like, oh, you want to learn this? I have no idea what it does. So, do I? I don't know. I do, because I played this, but, like, no explanation of what the move was. It's like, it's like when the internet wasn't particularly good either, so it's like, what am I gonna, like, spend 6 minutes going up on dial-up to try to, like, look up what this move does? I must confer you the Rainbow Badge. We did it, guys! Pokemon up to level 50 obey, because we're halfway through the game, and now we get to use Strength out of battle. And... oh, I gotta... okay. Real quick, we'll make room for this. Okay, cool. So we get TM21, which... Mega Drain, right. Okay, I was gonna say, definitely not Petal Dance, or I would have remembered that it was in this game. Okay, guys, so that wraps up this episode of Pete Plays Pokemon Blue. If you guys liked the video, please be sure to give it a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'll be back next Friday at our regular time for another episode of Pete Plays Pokemon Blue. You can check out on a semi-daily basis my series on Pokemon Uranium with my buddy Thompson. And we've got our weekly podcast every Monday where we discuss the news and a regular topic of discussion. That's kind of like an evergreen thing, and our one-off Let's Plays every Tuesday and Thursday. So that's enough plugging for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me for another one, and we will see you guys on Monday.